Okay, so we have 2,000 points of Adeptus Custodes. We have 2 Vanguard detachments. So the first Vanguard detachment we have is Inquisitor Greyfax, a Vindicator Assassin, and 2 units of Scientists and Prosecutors. Then we have in the Custodes Vanguard, we have the Alaris Terminators, the Vexilla Magnifica, which is the -1 to hit. We have the Contemptor Dreadnought with multi-melter. We've got 2 units of jet bikes, all with Hurricane bolters apart from 2 at the back with salvo launchers. We have the Land Raider with Storm Bolter, Heavy Bolter, Twin Heavy Bolter, and 2 Twin Las Cannons. And then we have the Warlord, who has the Oracle Quillis to give it the free up invuln and to re-roll failed charges. Plus it has Impregnable Mind, so it can deny the Witch. And that makes up 2,000 points of Adeptus Custodes. Okay, so we've got 2,000 points of Grey Knights, a Vanguard detachment. We have 2 Paladin squads, a Venerable Dreadnought. We also have Inceptor squad, a Nemesis Dread Knight, and then we have the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight and Lord Caldor Drago. We also have a Storm Raven, which you will see later, and that brings them up to 4 command points against Custodes' 5 command points. Okay, so we're doing Cleanse and Capture, and we've got the Search and Destroy deployment. These are the objective markers, which are dotted out over the terrain. So this is how the Adeptus Custodes are deployed. Hopefully using those sisters to stop some of the Grey Knights' psych ability. And then the Grey Knights are deployed like this. This is a Storm Raven. And they have the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, the Nemesis Dread Knight, and Paladin Squad and Lord Caldor Drago in Deep Strike. And the Custodes have the Assassin, Vindicator Assassin, and the Alaris Terminators in Deep Strike. So we're going to roll off to see who goes first. So Pete's got a 6 because he's got +1 with the Grey Knights. And I've got a 2. So it's Grey Knights turn 1 unless Custodes can seize. Nope, rolled another 2. So it's Grey Knights. Okay, so end of Grey Knights movement. They've dropped in the Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight, the other Dread Knight, a Paladin squad, and Drago just behind. And then they have dropped the Interceptors down to secure objective 2. They've moved the Storm Raven around to here. So cards wise, they got a Grey Knight specific Psychic Communion, so he has to get off 3 powers, and it'll give him 1 victory point, and 6 will give him D3. Mission critical objective, which he couldn't do because he wasn't on any objective markers, and then he's got secure objective 2, which he has secured, so we'll get that at the end of his go. So we're moving into Psychic phase. Okay, so Grey Knights, Psych and Shooting. So the over here, the Dreadnought put Astral Aim himself, and then the Paladin squad put Sanctuary onto the Storm Raven. Then we done a few smites over here, took down a wound, a couple of wounds on a bike over there, took a wound down on my shield captain, denied a couple of bits. They managed to get 6 off, which gave them the D3, which they rolled 1 on, but then command pointed it, so they got 3 command points for that, 3 victory points for that, sorry. And then they shot the incinerators and Gatling cannon into my bikes, took 2 out with the incinerator, because it's auto hit. Shot some more stuff into my shield captain, took him down another wound, and they took out 3 of the sisters as well. Then shot the Venerable Dreadnought and the Storm Raven into the Land Raider, and I made 3 5-up saves, which was pretty good, so it didn't take any damage. And now we're going to go into the Grey Knight's charge and attack phases. Okay, charge in assault phase. Unfortunately, the Grey Knights failed their charges. The Paladins took 1 wound in Overwatch, as did Drago, and the Dreadnought failed to charge as well, so he couldn't get anything in. There was no morale to take, as the sisters are within 6 of Greyfax, so take a leadership. So we're going to go into Custodes turn 1. Okay, so the Custodes have moved. They've dropped the Assassin in up here, dropped the Terminators in here. We've moved the Shield Captain down. We've moved these 3 jet bikes over. We've moved the Terminator, the Dreadnought over. We kept this bike where it is. It's a salvo launcher. We kept the Land Raider where it is. We moved the sisters over, and we've moved these sisters over too, and we just left Inquisitor Greyfax where she is. So we're going to move into Psychic phase and then shooting. Okay, end of Custodes, Psych and shooting. Psych didn't go off. I tried to use the Psychic Pad Dominate, which is Warp Chart 7, didn't go off. So we shot a lot into the Paladins, a lot of Hurricane Bolters and Bolt Guns and Storm Bolters and Combi Bolters, and we got them down. We took 3 out and got 1 down, 1 wound. We fired the Assassin into Drago, and we got him down to 4 wounds. We fired some Melters into this Dreadnought and took him down 8 wounds, down to 4.
And the missile you shot into that.
Oh yeah, so a Melter from the Dreadnought and the missile from the bike. The las cannons on my Land Raider massively whiffed. I got 3 hits through, and then none of them wounded, not one. Rolled 2s. Which is
saving against mine earlier though.
Yeah, but I did say in the Grey Knights round I saved against 3 of them, so it was sort of evened out on that score. We're going to go into the charge and attack phase. Everything down that end of the board for the Grey Knights hasn't been touched. There's been a few wins given out, so it's been a good shooting phase. So we're going to go into the charge and attack phase. Okay, so end of Custodes turn 1. Quite a lot's happened. We charged in with my Warlord, the Shield Captain on a bike. These Terminators made the charge. One of the bikes hit the Paladins, took one of them out and took another one down to 2 wounds. The other 2 bikes hit Drago, killed him. Drago then used the Grey Knight stratagem to fight immediately once he's killed. He then attacked my Warlord and killed him. So I got first blood and he got to stay the Warlord, because his Warlord's actually the Grandmaster in Dreadnought. The Terminators did hit the Grandmaster and actually took 8 wounds off him, and he's down to 4. So it's a pretty good battle going on over here. I feel I'm going to get a lot more wounds into me this next phase, and he's still got the Storm Raven, Dreadnought, Paladins and Interceptors up there. So we're going into the Grey Knights turn 2. Okay, so end of Grey Knights turn 2 movement. One of the Grey Knights has moved up here. These 2 have stayed in combat. The Paladin squad down there got into the Storm Raven that's moved up, and the Venerable Dreadnought stayed here. The Interceptors teleported Shunt, which they can do once per battle over here to get secure objective 5. So the objectives he pulled out was teleport attack, which is a Grey Knight specific thing. So you basically use Gate of Infinity or teleport, and then if you kill a unit whilst doing this, you then get a victory point. They got Blood and Guts, which obviously is killing stuff in the fight phase, and they also got secure objective 5, which he will have. So we are going to move into psych and shooting for Grey Knight's turn. Okay, end of Grey Knight's turn 2. They ended up taking out 3 of the sisters over here. Took out my bike with the salvo launcher. Took the Land Raider down to 12 wounds. A lot got missed because of the -1 to hit from the Vixilla.
I'd say this army's more cheating than the Nids.
And Pete thinks that this army's cheating than the Nids. And then
I did better against Nids than I've done against these.
yeah, well, you don't know yet. Yeah, but how many victory points are you on?
Oh yeah, I know, 7, they rack it up.
So Pete's on 7 victory points, I'm on 0. Going into Custodes turn 2. Okay, so end of Grey Knight's charge and assault phase, which we forgot. So the Dreadnought charged in, and then the Dreadnought and Paladin hit, took one of the shield bikes down, one of the jet bikes down to 1 wound. They hit back, didn't do anything to the Paladin, as 1 hit to Paladin, 2 went into the Dreadnought and done 1 wound. Pete done a pretty good save. He saved, out of 5 wounds that went through, he saved 4. He rolled 4 6s, so pretty good. So we're going to go into Custodes turn 2. End of Custodes movement, we dropped the bikes out of combat, we moved the Terminators up, moved the Dreadnought over, moved the Sisters round, and that was about it for movement. We got Defend Objective 4, which is right over the other side, and we got still had Hold the Line and Secure Objective 1. So we're going into the psych and shooting for Custodes turn 2. Okay, end of Custodes turn 2. We smited the Dreadnought with Inquisitor Greyfax and rolled a 3 on a D3. He tried to deny but didn't get it, and the Dreadnought died. We also killed the Paladin with a lot of fire of like bolt guns and whatnot. And we took the Storm Raven down to 4 wounds, so we done 9 wounds on it with the Land Raider and its las cannons. So we're moving. I wasn't in range to charge anything because everything I moved up to charge died in the shooting phase. I didn't get any victory points because I just didn't get near anything. So I'm still on 1 victory point, which I got for first blood. And Pete's on about 7.
7,
Yeah, 7 victory points. So we're moving into Grey Knight's turn 3. Okay, Grey Knight's turn 3 movement. The Paladins got out of the Storm Raven and moved up to here. The Storm Raven moved back to here. The Dreadnought moved under a little bit. The Interceptor squad moved round here to hide, and the Nemesis Grandmaster and Nemesis Dreadnought moved a bit further forward there. We're going to go into Psych and shooting for Grey Knight's turn. Okay, end of Grey Knight's turn 3. The Paladin shot up, smite and shot up to the Assassin and actually killed him. And then everything else Pete had shot into the Land Raider, that you could see, and actually took it down to 2 wounds from 14. So done very well there with the Storm Raven and the Venerable Dreadnought. Nothing else could see, so there's nothing in range to charge. So we're going to go into Custodes turn 3. You didn't get any victory points to your cards?
Not that I know of, no.
No.
Defend Objective 3, Defend Objective 6. I could have caught it over there, but I'm being a pussy and hiding.
Yeah.
Not going to lie, because I don't think I'm going to survive otherwise. And Psychological Warfare score 1 victory point. The morale test is not going to happen. So.
Okay, so we're going into Custodes turn 3. Okay, so we have Custodes movement. We've moved the bikes over towards the Dreadnought. We've moved the Sisters along. We moved this little group up. The Land Raider's only got a 3-inch movement now. We moved and advanced the Terminators, but only advanced them 1 inch, and then we moved up the Dreadnought to get line of sight on the Dreadnought. And then we're going to fire in up to the Storm Raven with the Land Raider. So we're going to go into psych and shooting, although I'm not in range to psych anything. So yeah, we'll just be probably doing some shooting. Okay, in the Custodes turn 3, we shot the melter from the Dreadnought into the Nemesis Dreadnought, took 2 wounds off, then we finished it off with a Hurricane Bolt of Fire from the jet bikes. We put everything from the Land Raider into the Storm Raven, missed with everything, used a command point on one of the last cannon shots, managed to get it through round wound, missed the save, then we took 3 wounds off, bringing the Storm Raven down to 1 wound. So going into Grey Knight's turn 4, it's got the Paladins over here, it's got the Venerable Dreadnought, the Storm Raven and the Interceptors, and you're sitting on 7 victory points to the Custodes 3, going into Grey Knight's turn 4. Okay, end of Grey Knight's movement, which wasn't very far. He's tucked the Paladins a bit further around here, and he's dropped the Interceptor squad just down there. And then the Venerable Dreadnought is in range of the Defend Objective 2, which he's got. He's got Psychological Warfare, which he's going to get, and Defend Objective 3,
Which is over there.
which is over the other side. So he hasn't moved the Storm Raven because it's in hover, and he hasn't moved the Dreadnought because it was already within 3. So we're going into Psych and shooting for the... Okay, end of Grey Knight's turn 4. It was very ineffective. He put Sanctuary onto these Paladins, Astrolabe onto the Dreadnought. The Storm Raven fired, didn't get anything through, didn't wound.
No hits.
And then
no hits at all.
you got no hits, and then you done the Storm Strike, then you missed the wound.
Oh yeah.
The Dreadnought did actually get a hit through and a wound on the Land Raider, but I managed to do a save, 5-up save, so I managed to save that. So we're going into Custodes turn 4. Okay, end of Custodes movement turn 4. We picked up Crush Their Resistance. When you generate attack if your opponent chooses an objective marker, score DV, victory points in turn if you control objective marker. He chose objective 2, which is not within my reach, so I won't get that. And then score 1 victory point is at least 1 unit fires destroyed. I'm going to try and get that. And then skill objective 1, I'm still not on. So we're going to go into shooting, Psych and shooting turn 4. So, end of Custodes turn 4. We didn't have anything. We shot the Interceptors because we didn't have anything we could psych. So we shot the Interceptors and we killed them. We also, with the Hurricane, got a shot at the Storm Raven and took that out as well. And got Scour the Skies. So we're up to 4 victory points. So Pete's 7. Although Pete's got an extra 2 for Defend Objective 2. So he's up to 9. So it's 9-4 on victory points. Pete has the Paladins over here and the Dreadnought here. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to these Paladins. I'll be able to get to the Dreadnought, but yeah. So we're going into Grey Knight's turn 5. Okay, end of Grey Knight's turn 5.
Got that, no.
So Pete got Master of the Warp and no prisoners, so he got 1 point for each. So he goes up to 11.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's up to 11 victory points to Custodes 4. Also, the Venerable Dreadnought shot both las cannons into the Land Raider and rolled 12 damage. I then attempt to do 12, 6 no feel no pains. And got 3, so the 9 damage far surpassed its 2 wounds it had left. So that's gone. I did roll a 6 for, and it exploded, but I command pointed that, so it didn't explode. So we're going into Custodes turn 5. Okay, so end of Adeptus Custodes turn 5. Moved all these guys up, advanced a lot of them, moved over onto Defend Objective. Because I want to defend objective 5 if the game goes on. Also, I got Crush Their Resistance, so moved over here, and because my bikes get secured, I do get that. So I'm going to roll D3 now for that, see what I get. So I got 2, which puts me up to 6. Up to 6 victory points, and I moved the bikes over because nothing else could do anything. Shot into the dreadnought, took it down 1 wound, charged it and assaulted it and took it down another 4 wounds, so it's on 3, and he hit back and took one of my bikes down a wound. And the paladins are still over here, so we're going to roll off to see if the game goes on. On a 3 up it goes on. On a 2 it ends, so Grey Knights win. 11 victory points to 4. Heat 1.
Good game.
It was a good game.
Massively hard army to play against, to be honest.
Yeah, you've done very well at the end there to hide up your units because you knew what was
+1
happening.
to hit on everything is just...
With the Vexilla,
yeah,
it's in 6 inches,
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
Yeah, like that gives, like, if you're obviously 2, there's a 50-50 chance of getting a hit.
Yeah,
so
for me, I was really pleased with how my stuff done against your Dreadknights because
them
your Dreadknights are really good.
Yeah,
yeah, your Dreadknights are very, very good. So, for me, my my model that I think done the best would probably have to be the bikes, just because they were mobile, they got in there.
Fair, I'd say your Terminators are a close second.
Yeah, my Terminators are a close second. The only thing with my Terminators, as soon as you move everything out, that like they've nothing. The last 2 turns, that they've done nothing, so they're just trying to move, you know, trying to get into close. But that's the thing with the Grey Knights; they have got a lot of mobility in terms of Gate of Infinity and things like that.
Getting out of there, isn't it? Fucking Gate of Infinity, straight out of the.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game, close game in terms of you were always leading the way with victory points. I was probably leading the way in terms of killing units.
Yeah, you've got the more.
I would have got Line Breaker because it's the end of the game. But so
did I get another victory point on the back?
No, because my deployment would have been there. Your deployment's
right.
here. So I would get Line Breaker, you wouldn't. So I would have up to 5, but I'm still 6 points behind. So yeah, really good game. And until the next one.
That was good fun.
Yeah, really good fun.